Hello and welcome to the second video in my super cheap superfood series. Now I know you want to include super healthy foods in your diet, but when they're super expensive, it's just not sustainable. Today's superfood is actually a beverage. Do you like the refreshing effervescence of fizzy drinks, but hate the way they erode your teeth and your health? Well then you'll love kombucha. First, let me quickly run through why it's healthy and then I'll tell you how to make it. As always, I will have useful links in the description box below in case you want to dive a bit deeper. Why it's good. Kombucha contains probiotics, enzymes, antioxidants, folate and B vitamins. These compounds give a range of health benefits, including introducing good bacteria to your system, killing bad bacteria, increasing energy, better immune function, detoxification, as well as improving the symptoms of gastro and irritable bowel syndrome, or IBS. What you'll need to make it: a large glass jar, about 1 litre at least in size. I just pinched the empty Moccona coffee jar from work. These jars are awesome, but any large jar will work. Even one of those fancy glass drink dispensers that you can get from Kmart will work a treat. Yes, I know I did say Kmart and fancy in the same sentence. Next, you will need plain black or plain green tea. You can buy organic if you get down like that, but I'm not bothered. You will also need a 1/4 cup of white sugar or raw sugar. This big baby only gets used for kombucha in this house. Don't bother trying with other sweeteners, just these plain sugars work best. Some people want to use honey with kombucha, but it's generally not advised due to the fact that honey is actually antibacterial and we want to encourage the growth of bacteria. Don't know if that's actually a fact, but I wouldn't try using honey until at least you've got a few spare scobies that you're prepared to risk. You'll need about 1 litre of water. You can use filtered, distilled, reverse osmosis, but I just use plain tap water. Of course, the most important ingredient of all is a SCOBY, which stands for symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast, and it looks a little something like this. I know, it's not the prettiest thing in the world, but very, very useful. So if you look at it, there's layers there. See this little disc hanging down? When you do a few brews of kombucha, it will actually start growing new scobies underneath or on top, can't remember. Anyway, you can just peel them off, give them to friends, start other batches, but this ugly little baby is what you want. Let's have a closer look. Ah! Oops, it's spilling on the new couch. See? It doesn't look right, but this is a healthy kombucha SCOBY. To get one, I just googled where to buy kombucha SCOBY Melbourne, and I found a lady who sells them. I got one for $15 about 5 years ago, and since then it has grown many beautiful SCOBY children, which I have sold, given away, dried out to turn into jerky, etc, etc. So for the first ferment, you put the 1/4 cup of sugar into the jar with 1 tea bag, black or green, fill it up with boiling water and allow it to cool. Easy enough. Once it's cool, remove the tea bag and add in that SCOBY that I just showed you, along with about 1/2 cup of kombucha liquid. So you should get that from the person you buy the SCOBY off, or you could probably just use some store-bought kombucha to go with it if you need to. Then put a thin cloth over the top of the jar and secure it with a rubber band so that your SCOBY can breathe, and also so that you don't get debris and dust and bugs falling in there. Then just put it in a dark cupboard for about a week or so. Kombucha can ferment faster in warm weather and slower in cold weather. Either way, I just use a straw to check the flavour every couple of days to see if it is to my liking. But you don't need to be too worried about it. Kombucha is extremely hard to kill or make it go bad. You could even leave it in there for a few weeks or even months. It's just going to go really strong and sour and vinegary, but would still be perfectly good to drink and perfectly good to use the SCOBY again. Now after the week, your kombucha should be ready and you can drink it as is, or you can add some flavouring to it, which is called a second ferment. So, a week later, just prepare your second batch the same way I just described for the first batch. Put the SCOBY in there, put it away in the cupboard. Take the litre of kombucha liquid that you've just been brewing over the last week, put it in a bottle or a jar with a secure lid, and you can add fruit pieces, fruit juice, herbs, spices, Any flavor combinations that you can dream up, just add them into the kombucha liquid and then put it back in the cupboard, but this time with the lid on. Leave that again in a cupboard at room temperature, and that will ferment and the flavors will go through the kombucha and it will get even more fizzy. So just be careful, maybe check it once a day because the fizziness can build up, and apparently lids can pop off or bottle caps can go flying, but it hasn't happened to me yet. Some interesting flavor combinations that I like are lemon and ginger, pear and ginger, pretty much anything in ginger. Lime and coriander, you could use that as a salad dressing because it's kind of a vinaigrette. Tomato and basil. You're basically only limited by your imagination. I'll put a few more flavor suggestions in the description box. But my all-time favorite is to chuck in frozen blueberries and a few cinnamon sticks, and that one turns into this beautiful spiced berry kombucha which reminds me of Christmas. And during the first fermentation of the plain kombucha, or during the second fermentation of the flavored kombucha, you can just use a straw every couple of days to check the flavor and leave it longer if you want it a bit more intense. Now, as for the super cheap aspect, think about this. Supermarket kombucha for a little bottle generally costs about at least $5 for 330 mils. That's around $15 a litre. What does a tea bag, quarter cup of sugar and a litre of water cost? Gotta be less than 50 cents that it would cost you to make a litre of kombucha at home every single week. Take off the initial $15 cost for the SCOBY, and that's a saving of around $740 a year. I make around 3 litres of kombucha a week and it costs us basically nothing. Do you love kombucha? Believe me, it is so easy to make. Are you going to give it a try? Let me know in the comments below. Hit the subscribe button below if you'd like to see more super cheap and easy superfoods. And I'll catch the video. Bye!